Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB strategy show right here on the Stokastic YouTube's channel. 13 games, yeah, loaded with pitching, loaded with some good bats. This will be a fun one. Already dug in, already completed the perfect lineup with Josh. That'll be out. Nice little bite-sized 7-8 minute video for you guys Monday through Friday. Come check it out right here on the channel. That's done. So I've gotten a bit of a look at this one as well, and it's going to be interesting. I can tell you right now, it is going to be interesting because you've got guys up top that look great. Guys up top, yes. How about Yamamoto and DeGrom? Oof. Sucks too because Christopher Sanchez gave us a phenomenal start. Outside of that one early run, he was excellent. We talked about boosting him, but Kikuchi, another one. The wheels fell off in that game. 6-5 game between Kikuchi and DeGrom. Just wasn't one of them, you know? Wasn't one of those days. It happens, though. It happens. And we move on. The good thing about, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you guys something right now. The great thing about MLB DFS. Now, far be it for me to say it's as good as NFL. It isn't, but it's all we've got, and we love it no less. The great thing about like MLB or NBA DFS is the ability to put things in the rear view, right? To have daily fantasy amnesia. Bad day? All right, let's get back to it. With football, you have a bad Sunday and then the Monday slate sucks. You're just going days where you're like, shit, man, I gotta just get ready for the next slate. And you gotta wait and wait and wait. It's not as easy to put those losses in the rear view, but with baseball, the moment this show starts, the moment I hit go live and we start talking, you know how it goes. We're right back at it. It's a tough sport. All we need is one, though. All we need is one. So anyway, glad to have you guys with us, or with me, I should say. If you don't mind, take a single second, atone for your sins this fine morning. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. Cost you nothing outside of a little kindness. And leave a comment down below. I really try and read and respond to all of them. They help, and we appreciate you. And it helps me know that you're watching after the fact, once this is no longer live. Plenty of shelf life here, though, right? We go live at 11. Deeper dive, or live before lock, is until 6. So you got plenty of time throughout the day to tune in, say hello, and hopefully get some good insight as we base our analysis on the data here, on the tools. And we've got some good stuff today, so we'll dive straight into it. But yeah, look, let's bounce back from a tough day and get straight into it. Anyway, I want to show you guys a couple of things here. You have 7 teams with totals of 5+ today. You also have 3 teams sub 4 and 6 teams at 4 runs or lower. There are some good pitchers on this slate. Does that mean that all of these pitchers are going to be great fantasy options? No, but it does mean that despite this being a 13-game slate, I think it's reasonable to posit that just because you have this many teams going doesn't mean there are actually going to be that many great stacks. As a matter of fact, I kind of see it the opposite. Eric, by the way, Eric Johnson says, good morning, Dave. How are you this fine day? I'm good, man. We got a good workout in this morning. Just crushed 4 scrambled eggs, some onions, peppers, spinach, and hot sauce, and a little American cheese, of course. If you guys are making eggs and you're putting like onions and peppers in them, which everyone should do you cook the onions and peppers first? Because I don't. I throw the eggs in, let them harden a tiny bit, then I throw them all in. I want those onions raw. I want a crunch to them. Cook the spinach on the other side of the pan because cooked spinach is better for you than uncooked, believe it or not. But Eric, I shouted you out in the perfect lineup. I believe it was you who said, you said, hey, listen, the dick will fit against the Rockies. And I said, I don't know if the dick will fit. And he went out there, and despite 3 runs, none of them were earned. He had a really nice start at a discounted price point. And now you've got Brian Bayo going today. So my apologies. I was wrong. Eric, I believe that was you. Please accept my apologies. Good call yesterday. It's funny too, because man, I was on the play anybody against the Rockies very, very early this season, like very early, right? We've been saying it from the jump. And yesterday, I don't know what happened. I thought it was actually a pretty good pitching slate and he was unnecessary. But yeah. Comment God, in the words of Crosby, if it don't fit, use some spit. Why didn't you tell me that yesterday? Mark D'Angelo, onions and zucchini cooked first with eggs. Love the onions. I'm not a zucchini guy. Matter of fact, I'll eat pretty much anything, and any vegetable I'll eat. It isn't to say that I thoroughly enjoy them or look forward to them, but I'll eat them, and you can prepare them in a nice way. The one thing I despise, I don't even know, maybe it's a fruit. I think cucumber is the most disgusting food known to man. The smell of it, the texture, the taste. God, do I hate cucumbers. Not that you guys care or needed to know that, but I hate them. God, do I hate them. Yeah, mushrooms are mushrooms on anything. On anything. But yeah, let's dive into it. Just wanted to send out my heartfelt apologies for not being on old Dick Fitz yesterday. So let's talk about the top here. And we got to start with Hunter Brown. No, I love pickles, Ryan Stubbs. People always ask me that. They're way different. They taste different. They taste so much different. Pickles are just salt. Hunter Brown at 11K. Do you guys, are you guys aware of this? Are you guys aware that Cleveland on the season, remarkably, and I don't even know how this is possible, they've scored this offense, Cleveland's offense, who Hunter Brown squares off against today in Houston, has scored 4 more runs than the Chicago White Sox. And here's the craziest part of all. When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know until I looked this morning. The Cleveland Guardians have scored 5 fewer runs than the Colorado Rockies. Now, of course, you'll say, yeah, but the Rockies play at Coors. I don't care. I don't care. This is a Cleveland offense that has been abysmal this year. I mean, they are bad. Somebody said yesterday, hey, they can't hit lefties. You're not wrong about that. Granted, yesterday, I believe how many runs did Cleveland finish with yesterday? 1 game means absolutely nothing. Yeah, 7. 1 run means nothing to me. But they can't really hit righties either. Yeah, after seeing Gordon take a ball to the head last night, I'll respectfully pass on Brown tonight for his safety. That's certainly an opinion. But Hunter Brown, dude, he's so good. Second shortest AL Cy Young odds, only to Skubal. 3rd highest K rate in baseball behind Skubal and Wheeler. And they're all within 1% of each other. And the thing I actually find interesting about Hunter Brown tonight, outside of the fact that he's just dominant, he's allowed 2 or fewer runs in 14 to 16 starts, just insane stuff. What about the fact that while he's going to face a lot of lefties, this dude has a 35% K rate against lefties this year. 35% K rate against left-handed hitters. That's incredible stuff. So you got a righty with a 35% K rate against lefties. I'm pulling it up right now. Who has the highest K rate against lefties? Okay, it's Mackenzie Gore at 36.6, Zach Wheeler at 35.3, Hunter Brown at 34.8. Mackenzie Gore's a lefty, has faced far fewer of them. Wheeler and Brown, 2 righties, just dominating opposite-handed bats. I actually don't think you have to play Brown today just because there's a lot of good pitching, but you can't argue that he's not a great play on this slate, because he is. 3.3 run implied total for the Houston Astros today. Fully bottomed out in the basement. 3.3 run implied total. That's how good of a pitcher Hunter Brown is. You know? You'd be hard-pressed to find arguments against him. That's all I'm saying. Minus 202 money line favorites. Lowest total on the slate by more than half of a run. I mean, it's all right there. And if you look at Brown's props today, 18.5, 17.5 outs, earned runs on Brown, 1.5. Look, there's hardly any juice on the over at 1.5. And then strikeouts, 6.5 with heavy juice to the over. I mean, yeah, it all just makes sense. That's over on OddsShopper's free live odds tool. Highly suggest you check that out, even if you're not a premium sub to the Portfolio EV tool on the same site. But yeah, you've got Brown. If you want to sort by salary, I want to know how you guys prioritize the 9K and up players. Understandably, there's a pretty big range there, right? Between like 9K Imanaga and Hunter Brown at 11K. But to me, I still like Brown over Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray's, I don't hate him. Ray's fine against San Francisco or against Philly in that good park. You know, you saw another super low scoring game yesterday, and Roop was on one side. On the other side, you had Christopher Sanchez with a dominant performance. Eovaldi against the Angels. That actually might be a sneaky spot for Eovaldi. I haven't looked into it all that much, but these type of spots can be sneaky sometimes against this Angels team. Or they can just blow up like we saw happen with DeGrom yesterday. You know, I mentioned to you, too, that his K rate against righties this year, I'm not sure what's going on, but his K rate against righties was a little bit concerning to me, 20, 21% going into this start, because you just can load up with righties. The Angels always do. You know, you'd project them for 7 righties, a lefty, and a switch hitter who, you know, will bat from the left side, but still. So maybe Eovaldi's actually a better play than we think today. A 2.54 xFIP against righties, 27% K rate against righties and lefties alike. 201 WOBA against righties this year for Eovaldi. That's crazy. He is not allowed, and I know he hasn't pitched as many innings, but still, he's at 77 innings on the year. He hasn't allowed a single home run to righties. Only 6 extra base hits on 146 batters faced. That's pretty remarkable. Yeah, if ownership becomes a real thing, we did this with Grant Holmes against the Angels last week when he wasn't getting nearly as much ownership as some other chalky options. We might have to be looking at Eovaldi here if we're talking 7 righty lineup for the Angels. Look at the ISO, 0.045, 126 X ISO, 202 WOBA, sub 300 X WOBA, almost a 13% swinging strike rate against same-handed hitters. To me, that looks good. I almost don't want to sleep on him here. I do not want to sleep on him quite yet. What do you guys think of Eovaldi? We're not really getting any of him either, because we're getting to a lot of Hunter Brown within the Sims. Understandably, Hunter Brown's amazing. But I don't know, man. If ownership on Nathan Eovaldi is 6%, I'm very tempted to boost him a little bit. It would not take much to get over the field there. Austin, only issue is pitch count. Yeah, I mean, that is always going to be a real problem. So then the question becomes, how deep can he go? 70, it's crazy too, because 72 pitches last time out, really good start. You're looking back in May, and it was 105 pitches, right, before the IL. So 45 pitches, 72 pitches over his last 2 starts since returning after a month hiatus. How many do we think he can throw here? He was so good. I don't know, man. And he's been so good on the year that I don't think it's crazy. You get like, if they ramped him up from 45, right? 45, because do you remember they did this last year too? Where it was like he came back and he was throwing 2 or 3 innings for a while in his return. But he went 3 innings, 45, then 72 pitches. Let's see if we have props on him. This could actually answer this could answer a lot. We might not. 5.5K prop, heavy juice to the over. Look at that. Minus 160. Earned runs sitting at 1.5 on DK. Heavy juice to the under at 2.5 on Penny and BetMGM. 16.5 outs. BetMGM's at 17.5. So is Penny. So that, I mean, and I think you're always going to have some type of a hedge by the books here, a little bit of a conservative approach. Eovaldi's been so good that this just might be one of those spots we could get to. So, yeah. All right. I don't know what you guys want to do there, but I think there's something there. Eric, I like Pivetta a lot. Interesting. Pivetta honestly wasn't a guy that I was thinking about getting to a whole lot of. Great strikeout stuff, obviously. You know, this guy's been hovering in that like 28 to 30% K rate all year long. He's faced some difficult teams lately, and at least over the last month. And he had a great start against this same Arizona team just earlier or mid-June. 7-2 earned, 9 Ks. I don't hate Pivetta at 11%. The thing about Eovaldi is he's 6% owned. Right? 6% owned with positive leverage. It all comes down to how many pitches can this guy throw. And the props would suggest that he actually looks okay. Here, look in the top pitchers tool, top 2 pitcher probability. Brown, you have Gilbert against the Yankees. I'm genuinely surprised he's getting 20% and some of these other guys are getting nowhere near that. I like Logan Gilbert. I honestly think Logan Gilbert, if this ownership holds, to me, this feels like a guy who's a little bit overowned. He is not inside T-Mobile Park. To me, that's a big deal. These Mariners pitchers, you know, at least on average over the last handful of years have pitched way better there. You also have serious issues when it comes to weather, and it's going to be close to 90 degrees at Yankee Stadium. To me, Logan Gilbert might be my least favorite of this group. Hunter Brown looks good. I think Robbie Ray looks fine. Pivetta at 9,800 against Arizona. I'll take that. I'm interested in Nathan Eovaldi as well. What about Seth Lugo here? 8,800. Third highest top 2 pitcher probability on the slate. On a 13-game slate, you got 26 pitchers going today. And Seth Lugo has a third highest top 2 pitcher probability. Only a 22% K rate this year, but aside from that, this guy's just been very good. You know, if there's one thing Lugo's good at doing, it's the guy just prevents runs. There's no other way to put it. Has he been a little lucky? Sure. He's got an 87% strand rate, 2.44 BABIP, and a 4.41 xERA compared to a 2.65 ERA. But he's 8,800 against a bad Pittsburgh team. You know, this is just one of the worst offenses in the league, this Pittsburgh Pirates team. And I don't see it changing anytime soon at all. They're terrible. I mean, realistically, Seth Lugo is kind of the type of guy that would benefit in a matchup like this. Because run prevention is really just his strong suit. It's not racking up a ton of strikeouts. He, you know, when he has these solid starts, it's because he goes deep into games, which he's very capable of doing. Right? Like he's gone 6+ innings and almost, you know, like 75% of starts this year. Strikeout stuff has looked a lot better recently. You know, easily a guy that can throw 100+ pitches. He's done so now in each of his last 2 starts. Einstein, man. Honestly, from Einstein, honestly, Soriano against Texas is interesting. Very. I'll say this much, though, and I'll be fully honest. I can't get this guy right. I fade him. He goes out 7 scoreless, 8 Ks. I play a ton of him. He gets blown up. Most notably that start against Washington recently. And then went out there. Look, that was bookended by an amazing start against Houston and an amazing start against Atlanta. He was great against the Yankees. He was great against the Athletics. I don't know what to make of this guy. He's also been, and I don't know if there's anything really to this. He's been way better on the road this year, but he's striking out a lot more batters at home. Soriano's in play. He's actually a pretty good option here. Jana said Soriano could get you 30 or 6. He could get you 30 or -6. Ken, doesn't he have serious home road splits? He does, but there are times where you try not to read too far into this stuff. You know what I mean? You look at his last start on the road, great start. Last start prior to that, at home, terrible. At home, phenomenal. On the road, good. At home, excellent. So if you're just taking like the last month of starts from him, and remember, these guys haven't made that many starts. He's probably made like, 18 starts, 16 starts this year. One or two bad performances can skew everything. You know, like you want to take his last 3 road starts or home starts. 2 of them have been elite, like legitimately elite. 6 2/3, 1 earned, 10 Ks. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 12 Ks. If you took each of the last 4 home starts, 2 of them have been terrible. 2 of them have been excellent. So I don't want to draw too many conclusions there. Texas isn't very good. You know what I care more about with Soriano is how many lefties is this guy going to face? We talked about it with Atlanta. Remember we said they really only have like one competent lefty in that lineup right now. Soriano went out there and dominated them. Lefties have been his Achilles heel. Forget about home and road splits. Look at these splits. Against lefties for Soriano this year, 16.8% K rate. Righties, 25. XFIP against lefties, it's about 4. Righties, 2.83. Walk rate is 11 and 9, lefties and righties respectively. So when you start looking at that, I care a lot more about the handedness of a batter than I do against, than I do about anything else for Soriano. I really think this guy, when it comes to lefties and righties, that's way more of a problem than where he's pitching. Let's pull it up on Add More Funds. There you go. Lefties, 10% swinging strike rate, 15% against righties. X-ISO is pretty much the same, but 335 X-WOBA against lefties, 309 against righties. So maybe he's been a little unlucky against lefties, but it's the complete lack of strikeout stuff against lefties that bothers me. You know, you're talking a 9% difference almost in strikeouts from lefties to righties. So there's that. Eric, Mizrowski at plus 105. Get it while you can. You won't get plus money on him next start. Plus 105, what? To win? Are you saying the Brewers are plus 105? What are you saying is 105? But, yeah, I mean, looking at this Texas lineup, you have Josh Smith, Corey Seager, Evan Carter, Jonah Heim. Those are your lefties that you would expect to be in the lineup today. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. You know Washington's not good, but they can put 7 lefties in that lineup, and they will. They probably will today against Sonny Gray as well. Speaking of, what do you guys think about Sonny Gray having like the 9th highest top 2 pitcher probability on this slate? Some of these guys are just getting lost. And meanwhile, Sonny Gray's thrown under 80 pitches in 3 of his last 4. To be fair, he threw 89 pitches with a complete game 1-hitter and 11 Ks. Genuinely one of the best starts you'll ever see. I mean that. Under 90 pitches to go complete game 1-hitter, 11 Ks. It's really one of the best starts. That might be the best start we've seen all year from an efficiency standpoint. I just don't love that, like, the pitch count has been a little bit concerning. You got him going up against Washington today. 3.9 run implied total. He's getting 9% ownership. You're just going to have to make some calls and there's some guys you're not going to play. Let's do this real quick. Let's eliminate the guys we don't want to play here. How about that? Let's just eliminate some of these guys we don't want to play. You couldn't pay me, excuse me, to play Taijuan Walker. As a Phillies fan, I've seen enough of this guy over the years. You couldn't pay me in any park to play Taijuan Walker. Aaron Savali. That's not interesting. Aaron Savali is not good. He will give up power. He's 5,500, third lowest price pitcher for a very good reason. Now, if you wanted to say like, yeah, but Savali hasn't been terrible. Okay, fine. But there's nothing redeeming about him either. There's no tangible strikeout stuff there. He gives up power. Jake Irvin, someone asked about him. I don't have a lot of interest. As a matter of fact, I'll show you in a second. The Sims are going to give you a good amount of of St. Louis today. Simeon Woods Richardson, pass against Chicago. Mizorowski against the Dodgers. I really love this kid, but I'm not surprised to see kind of what's happening with him lately. You know, that last start, he got blown up, didn't make it out of the fourth. It's not a surprise. A guy that's throwing 96 mile per hour sliders, you're not always going to have your stuff, especially when you're young, when you've had a double digit walk rate at the minor league level. That's rough. It's also a guy that, his pitch count, 81, 86, 74, 72. No interest in Mizorowski against the Dodgers today. Very little interest in Springs against Atlanta in Sacramento. It's, I think, Sutter Health Field. Kershaw against Milwaukee, pass. Freeland, I'm good. Mitch Keller, I guess you could say he's fine, but it's also tough when you have Soriano in a spot that I think is pretty decent. You have Brian Bayo in a good spot against the Rockies. Process of elimination, Mitch Keller doesn't make the cut. I think you could say the same about guys like Martinez, 9K, Imanaga, no. Merrill Kelly against San Diego. Just a lot of these guys down here, I don't have a lot of interest in. I'm a big Chris Bassett fan. The strikeout stuff there is always going to put him in play. Hasn't he had significant home road splits? Almost, I think every year he's been with Toronto, he's had pretty significant home road splits. Let me see. Yes, this year is absolutely no different. We rostered a lot of him on that. Remember that shitty slate last week? And we said, you know what? We're going to bite the bullet and go to Chris Bassett against the Yankees. More than good enough start. 5 2/3, 3 earned, 9 Ks. Good start. I think at 8,300 though, you can pass. I like Evaldi. Yuri Perez is interesting. I would rather get the Perez over Keller, over any of these guys. Aaron Savali, super boomer bust. Massively risky play here on Yuri Perez. Coming off an excellent start on that mini day slate the other day. 2-game slate, remember? He was amazing. 6 one-hit innings, 1 walk, 7 Ks, only 80 pitches. He could have kept going. I mean, a phenomenal start. And now you've got him going up against just a pedestrian at best Cincinnati offense. I should point out too to you guys, whoever's wondering, if we're worried about weather, the Yankees game could be a problem. I'm in the Pennsylvania, Bucks County, southeast Pennsylvania area, and that looks like it could be a problem with thunderstorms today. So obviously when that's the case, it's just the whole Northeast. Almost all of the Northeast, right? Just kind of gets swamped by the same weather. But White Sox could be an issue. St. Louis always seems to be an issue. Aside from that, we're looking pretty good. 80s and 90s in a lot of these spots. You guys know how to look up weather. I won't bore you with it. But that Yankees game appears to be the worst one. Eric, Marlins are one of the best road teams in baseball. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how much you want to read into that if we're being completely honest here. Okay, what would make this Marlins team, just knowing who's on their roster, what would make them one of the best teams in the league outside of just, I don't know. Obviously Marlins Park is not good for hitters. So there's that. Eric's not lying though. He's not wrong. I think they are top 10 in WOBA and ISO. And WRC plus, maybe not ISO, 15th in ISO on the road. I just have trouble quantifying this. Why would the Marlins be that much better at home on the road when we know they're not good at all at home? Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I don't think that's going to matter all that much from a pitching standpoint. Nick Martinez just isn't a guy I'm going to get to today all that much. A lot of pitching. But yeah, what about Perez? And do you guys have any interest there? I'll ask the audience. Any interest in Yuri Perez? Is Yuri Perez closer to the guy we saw yesterday? Because we know there's pedigree there. Or is this guy closer to the one we've seen in his previous handful of starts? We know that this is a guy that could be very good. Could be very good. And I don't think that's a stretch to say that. He's 22 years old. Somebody that, at almost every level, between 28 and 35% strikeout rate before coming up to the majors. We may just kind of be seeing the evolution of him, and it's going to be risky, but he might end up just being good. Listen, the Marlins are very good at getting young players and at times even developing them as pitchers, and then they trade them away and get garbage in return. That's what they do. They just grab good young players and then decided they want to give. They're philanthropists. Right? They just give their guys away for other players that'll never start more than 5 games. So there's that. But Perez is intriguing to me. 12% swinging strike rate. The Cincinnati Reds have a 8th highest K rate against righties this season. They haven't been bad, right? They've got a little bit of power. This game is in Cincinnati, which sucks. I'd much prefer this to be in Miami. But I think a sprinkle of Perez makes sense today. Just a sprinkle. You don't need to get overweight to him at all. I think there's a little something there. Jameson, since he's feast or famine, I think it's going to be the same thing with Perez. I think both of them are. Steven, they waited too long on Alcantara. Yeah, I don't know. They also had a guy that was a generational talent that died in a boating accident as well. Who knows what Jose Fernandez would have become? Wouldn't have been on the Marlins. They, assuredly would have traded him. But Jose Fernandez was a fucking stud. Guy was amazing. So that's what we got with pitching. Let's take a look at our exposures here to pitchers and then talk some stacks. Sorry, I'm taking a little longer than I typically would on this slate, but we just have so many good pitchers. So Hunter Brown and Brian Bayo are our 2 most exposed guys. Will Warren, who we didn't talk much about, someone mentioned that he's overrated earlier in the show. I saw it in the comments. I don't know if he's overrated or he's just the type of guy, not even enigmatic. You know who he is. Will Warren has a very good strikeout rate. He walks too many batters. He gets himself into a lot of trouble. He doesn't give up a lot of home runs, but if he's letting runners on, things can unwind quickly. That we know who he is. Will Warren is also the type of guy that could go out there and strike out 10. He has a 29% strikeout rate. That's a really good number for a guy in the 8Ks. He's 8K flat with a 29% K rate. Those are good numbers, man. he's also just liable to get smoked. You look at some of these games, like 5 2/3 scoreless, 10 Ks. 6 with 3 earned, but 11 Ks against the Angels. The strikeout stuff is real. Like, it's there. Last start, 4 innings, 8 earned, 4 Ks. Will Warren is very simply the type of guy that you just need to brace yourself, you know? Just brace yourself when it comes to Will Warren. But I do think against Seattle, would I prefer this game to be in Seattle? Obviously. But I do think against Seattle, a team that is also liable to just be non-existent, he's viable. What's their implied total today? 4.6. He probably has a K prop. He probably has a 5.5 K prop with significant juice to the over. Let's see. Guys, use this tool. This live odds tool here is free anyway. 5.5, yeah, minus 145, minus 135. Pennies at minus 139. Circuit minus 135. Probably what, 2.5 earned? Yeah, 2.5 earned on Warren. So his props look fine. Lugo. What's Lugo? Does Lugo have a 4.5 or a 5.5 K prop? My guess is it's 5.5, given that we're getting to a decent amount of them. Yep, 5.5. So pretty similar numbers right here to Will Warren. Lugo looks good too. We have 18%. We don't usually get a lot of him. Oh, there you go. 12% Yuri Perez, 12% Logan Gilbert, 7% Soriano. So if there's one thing that I would like to do, I would like to boost Nathan Eovaldi a little bit. And I want to see what happens here if we do. Okay? Let's go into the Sims. Let's boost Eovaldi. We're going to give him like a 20% boost and see if it moves anything at all. If it doesn't, that may be telling me that I should just stay away. But if it does, we'll take it. Let's see. Also, we're getting none of Irvin, Kelly, Taijuan Walker, Savali, Kershaw, Mizorowski. A lot of pitchers we're getting nothing of. Let's hit our boy Eovaldi with a 20% boost. Let me unfavorite these lineups. Jump back in and favorite 150 and check out our exposures. Only 9% still. If I could get to like 15%, I'd be happy with that. And you can see it brought Hunter Brown down a little bit, but pretty insignificant. So yeah, that's what we've got. If there's any other stuff you guys want to look at before I get in the stacks, obviously, let me know in the chat. I'm always monitoring that. It's a one-man operation here, but we got it covered. All right, let's take a look at our stacks. Oh, I wanted to show you guys something. So we have something in our in Slack. You guys know what Slack is, right? We use it for work along with other stuff. And it's like the Stokastic Hall of Fame Slack. So whenever anybody tags Stokastic Hall of Fame, it pops up right there. You can see it. I can jump in. I can respond. I can shout you guys out. You know, that's the easiest way we can do it. This one never showed up. He tagged me, and it never even showed up on Twitter. But K McD, he's in there right there. What's up, dude? I assume it's you, right? He just said, Lavi, look at his game logs. He hasn't really faced a good team. And when he did, he got smoked against. Yeah, for sure. But K McD, I also think Seattle is the type of team that can just lay down at times. They're also good. Anyway, I reached out to him today on Twitter, and I was like, dude, I never even saw that. It was from July 4th. Our boy takes down the 50K on the 4th of July, and I never saw it until today. It took Ron Roach, our fantastic customer service guy who always handles this and sends me these guys when I need to order a ring for him for the Stokastic Ring of Honor. And I was like, shit, I never even saw this. So K McD, huge shout out to Eric, Emac, Laffy, and the team at Stokastic. In-depth breakdown of all the slates, amazing tools projection you guys provide have made me such a better DFS player. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. Look at this, man. 50K, and this almost just slipped through the cracks. So if you're in chat right now, shout out your boy, because I know he is. Shout out your boy K McD. I think it's Kyle, right? And just an awesome win. 4th of July, 50K. You can't beat that, man. So I'm glad I saw this. I missed it earlier. No fault of my own, but I just missed it. So congrats, dude. And for those of you who want to get in on these tools, the Sims, the top pitchers tool, the top stacks tool, single lineup Sims, all of the tools that we have are essentially free to you. I'm going to tell you how you can do this. If you've heard this before, I would still listen if you haven't done it. If you haven't heard this, you'll definitely want to listen. Click the link in the description. It's the first one that says join any sportsbook, get Stokastic Sims free. That's a sportsbook, or that is any pick'em site, any of our partners here. All you have to do once you click that link is click claim offer on any of these and get a free month of the Stokastic MLB Sims. It's $120 value. Minimum deposit on these books is anywhere between $5 and $10. Choose one. You got to click claim offer. We can't find you, or choose 5, because every single one of these, no matter how many you do, equals a free month. You could get up to like 12 free months. Sign up using that claim offer. Deposit, it's usually $5 or $10 minimum. Place a bet or submit a lineup if it's one of these DFS pick'em sites. After that bet settles or that lineup settles, all you have to do, take a screenshot of your welcome email from that book or site and a screenshot of your first settled bet. Email Ron at support@stokastic.com with the screenshots and just tell him what you want. If you have 5 of them and you're like, yo, I want PGA, I want MLB, I want MMA, I want this, NASCAR, whatever, you got it. It's that simple. Not to mention, you could win your first bet. You know, you may end up not only getting it at no cost, you may end up making money on top of that on these books or these pick'em sites. Plus, many of them offer bonus bets. They offer these first net safety bets. And here's where I said, if you guys have heard this before, you may want to listen. We just added now WannaBet, which is another DFS pick'em site. New users get 100% deposit match up to $250. So this is included now. So if you've exhausted all of them, I know many of you have gone through this to get as many free months of Sims as you can. This one is brand new. Wanna Parlay. It's an interesting logo with the pirate. I said what they should have done is, never mind. It's going to make a really dumb pirate joke. The P, lowercase p, capital A, R, lowercase L-A-Y. I'm going to have to talk to him about that. But that's in there too. So if you've exhausted all the other options, grab another free month of Sims with Wanna Parlay right down there. Link is in the description. Follow those 4 steps. You're in, baby. All right. So let's talk about, just a terrible joke, but I got to do it. Josh, Laffy, you have to admit the contests for MLB today are dog shit for casuals. That's why NFL for casuals, even though obviously it's difficult to win these monster NFL contests, but a lot of people are out there that are using tools that are putting themselves in advantageous positions that love those long shot kind of lotto casual games like the big $1 or the play action or the mini maxes. I hear you, dude. Marvin, I don't know if you were here yesterday, but we said the same thing. DK needs to bring back the $3 mini max. Yeah, I know. Actually, our friend Greg Ehrenberg, who had reached out to his rep, he was the one that got it brought back 2 years ago for NBA, and I don't know what happened, but that needs to be there. So I don't disagree. But I'll tell you this much. If you're using these tools in some of those low stakes contests, you're going to absolutely crush. And it might not be your first day or your first week, but you're absolutely going to have some monster wins. I shouldn't say it like that. What I mean is that you're going to have a real advantage, because the stochastic avatars atop these mini maxes and quarter jukebox and 4-seamers have been really crazy this year. And I know a lot of you guys in chat can attest to that. All right, let's take a look at our stacks. Let's go. All right. Atlanta against Springs, no surprise. No surprise at all to see Boston against Kyle Freeland. St. Louis against Jake Irvin, though, that is the interesting one to me. What is their total today? It's like 5-3. They are at 5-1. Atlanta and Boston are our two highest exposed teams. Jake Irvin's in there as well. Let's see what else. Adam, does size of the field change your stack percentage in The Sims? Yeah, dude. That's why when you run the contest generator, you can run it all the way down to like 250 or 100 or something like that, and all the way up to 5,000. 5,000 would be for any of those, marquee contests. But yes, and also the percent to first. So you want to make sure you know what the percent to first is. It's very easy to calculate. And then use that. Right? Yes, all of that will make a big difference. All of that. Atlanta, Boston, St. Louis, Kansas City. Kansas City against Keller, huh? Let me go in and see what our exposures look like across the board. Go into exposure caps here. Click on stacks and see what we've got. Atlanta 28, St. Louis 21, Boston 19. So all those are pretty much grouped together. Kansas City getting to some athletics as well today. Not a ton. A little bit of Yankees against Gilbert. Minnesota against what? Imanaga. Texas a little bit against Soriano, but those are the three up top. So let me see how spread out our exposures are to individual bats here. This will be interesting. To the outfield we go. Ronald Acuna, 33%. Marcelo Zuna. All right. So 2 Atlanta bats. Brendan Donovan. Shohei Ohtani's always going to be up there. He's just so good. He always projects so well. Look at this. 12 per fantasy point projection is insane. Shortstop, Bobby Witt, Mason Wynn, Corey Seager, Trevor Story, Ellie De La Cruz. So this is really spread out outside of Bobby Witt. How much is Witt? 5,400. We continuously identify value there in Witt with how he's projected, by the way. You see him pop up a lot, and for good reason. Oh, Adam, like large fields go more 5-2 or unstacked versus 6 teams. Yeah, with these large fields, you're going to see a lot of 5-man stacks. You kind of have to. You have to try and concentrate that exposure into a few spots. Yeah, there's going to be times where you see like an unstacked lineup take down the main tournament, but we know like it is factual that, when you've got 26 teams going, are you trying to get hit on 8 individual batters from different offenses, different matchups, different teams, or concentrate that into one team that could go nuclear? I got you though, Adam. I see what you're saying. Nate Eaton, Austin Riley, Nolan Gorman, Michael Garcia, second base, Rami Gonzalez, Brendan Donovan, Ozzie Albies. Who are we getting the most of here? 26% Sean Murray. Who's our most exposed non-pitcher? Bobby Witt, Ronald Acuna, and Rami Gonzalez. Okay. We got any home run plays before we head out for the day? Let me see. No, we weren't getting to a lot of Cubs against Woods Richardson, Chris. If you like them, obviously feel free to boost them. Never a problem there. That's why we have those levers and, customization within the Sims tool. For sure. Always going to help. Damn, nothing right now. Why? We got nothing up right now. They'll pop up later in the day. Let me go into the Portfolio EV tool. This is free for your first week, by the way. If you guys ever wanted to check it out, link down there. Or here's another thing. You want to try a free week of Portfolio EV? You can do the same thing with signing up on those sports books, which you're going to need anyway. So if you're not there yet and you want to get some great baseball bets, some great WNBA bets, and all of that stuff, you don't have to love WNBA. You just have to like making money off of it. Here's the best way to do it. The best way to do it right here, especially when you don't have time to do anything else. Any home runs? Here we go. Freddie Freeman home runs against Mizralski. I don't hate that at all. Oh, that's under. Still don't hate it if we've got the true odds at -608. Austin Wells under, no over on home runs right now. Nothing popping up. Anyway, hey, you guys are the best. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the games. Come back at 6 for Live Before Lock with Eric and Greg. And I will see you here tomorrow for some early slate baseball where we have done much damage. Remember, use that link down there. Click any of these offers if you haven't yet. I guarantee there's at least a couple you haven't signed up on yet. One of Parlay's brand new, great deposit match, and you're getting a free month of The Sims. Simply click that, follow those 4 steps, and you're in business. You're also in the door getting a free month of Sims. Discord's included. Every tool we have for MLB or whatever sport you decide on is included in that offer. So do that if you haven't yet, and I will see you back here mañana. Bye-bye.